We're going to go over to the NFC East, and we're going to start with a team that really didn't do nothing for fantasy relevance, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on them. The Dallas Cowboys. I think Carolina broke their heart when they took Jonathan Brooks. I think that was definitely their pick in the second round. I think that's who they were hoping to maybe get, and it just didn't come together for them that way. But Dallas, bringing in tackle, bringing in edge, that's kind of mainly what they did here.
Yeah.
Which they did need some offensive line help. But we'll just talk about the Dallas offense real quick. And you and I have been talking about this, and could see them taking a step back next year.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Because, they didn't really do anything as far as bringing in firework-type weapons. And Dak's getting a little older.
Yeah.
They've kind of had their struggles in the playoffs. Does that catch up with them? We know last year they kind of started out real slow.
Yeah.
And then the media, I think, lit a fire under Dak, and he got going. But is that going to happen every year?
Yeah.
So,
grade-wise, I'm just going to say I'll probably give them a C because, like you said, they did fill a lot of needs. But, yeah, man, I really thought they would bring in a running back. I think Rico Waddle's a big winner.
Yeah,
they just signed Zeke, but as we mentioned earlier, I think he is a big winner here. And I'm going to say another big winner, in my opinion, is probably Jake Ferguson.
Good point.
Because they didn't bring in another talent. They just have Brandon Cooks, who's starting to get a little bit older, has his games. But
yeah, and Michael Gallup's even out the door.
Yeah, Michael Gallup's to the Raiders now. So
yeah, that's their type player.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dallas, I agree with you. I'd give them a C just on an NFL standpoint, but I am concerned about this offense next year. I don't think it's going to be near what we've seen last year.
Yeah.
I could see maybe middle of the pack.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be anything flashy. Ty, how you feel about Dallas?
C. Yeah, it wasn't nothing impressive.
Yeah, they needed more explosive help, I feel. Moss, how do you feel?
Yeah, I don't know much about the defense and tackles, but they addressed offensive or NFL needs, so I'll just give them a B.
All right, so we're off Dallas. Like I said, we think that their offense could take a step back. I think they're a loser, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think they needed to do more.
Yep.
We're going to go over here to Andy's second favorite team, the New York Football Giants. We'll just start here right off the hop. Malik Neighbors, 106 taken in the NFL draft, landing here with the Giants. We know that the quarterback situation isn't the sexiest thing in the world. We know Neighbors is kind of him-hawing around about getting a better quarterback for the Giants as opposed to Daniel Jones. But how do you guys feel about Neighbors in the Giants? I know a lot of people are really upset and uptight with this landing spot. But like we said, could be better than people think.
Yeah, I think, honestly, man, Neighbors is such a good yak guy. It doesn't really worry me much. Yeah, of course, we would have loved to see him with the Chargers or the Cardinals. But, he's one of these guys I feel like's kind of like – I don't want to say – underdrafted because I seen him go ahead of Jayden Daniels and Drake May in a Superflex league already.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think people were either really high on him or really low. This helps. Daniel Jones is a big winner here. Big winner.
Yeah.
Because we all thought could they take McCarthy? It was a little bit scary.
Yeah.
McCarthy wasn't the right pick. I'm glad that they just kind of stuck it out here. Wait again. Try next year. If Daniel Jones sucks, you're gonna have another high pick.
I saw they can cut Daniel Jones in next January for nothing.
So, yeah, that could easily happen. For this year, I think he is a big winner with Neighbors.
Huge winner.
Other than that, they definitely needed some more secondary help. They ended up getting Tyler Nubin, solid safety. Theo Johnson, I think that was a bit of a panic pick. We all said that Waller could easily, be cut or retire, and I'm seeing more rumblings about him retiring. So
Theo,
I want to say it's somewhat of a panic pick, but at the same time, Theo's really athletic and just a good football player. I guess he's just not really fantasy relevant. I'm not really falling into that trap.
No.
And then they grab a running back here, which I thought they could grab one a little bit earlier. Looks like Devin Singletary is going to be the guy here.
I was going to say, Devin Singletary is a big winner.
Yeah.
But the big thing is, though, no offensive line help.
I know, and that's a little bit scary. That's that's why I probably give him a C here. I would have liked to see him go back to the well here and try to get another offensive lineman, but
I'd give him a B- just because I think Malik Neighbors is a playmaker they needed.
Yeah. And they never invest in receivers. They get freaking Rondell Robinson, Derek, later guys. It's
and they signed Kenny Golladay in free agency.
Yeah, Like, I don't know. And they've made so many of the right picks that just haven't worked out.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. So you're not high on Theo Johnson. You mentioned him. He's another guy. Like, we know
For
Waller.
fantasy football, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are kind of hyping this landing spot up for Theo.
I know. He would probably, I mean, I'd take Sanders over him still. I would take Sanat.
Yeah. Obviously
yeah.
Bowers, the
Yeah.
top guys. Yeah, I'm with you. He's probably like the fourth or fifth guy in that pecking order. But yeah, I love Malik Neighbors. I think like what we know about Malik Neighbors is he's a yak guy.
Yeah.
And okay, yeah, he's not going to be able to make any big explosive plays, maybe just because of the quarterback situation down the field.
Yeah.
But you could still get the ball in this guy's hands and let him go to work.
Yeah.
So I really like that. I think Malik Neighbors is going to be just fine, and I would not pass on him for any other players. Like, whenever he's going right around that 104, 105 range, I would pick him easily there.
Yeah, I think there's a chance he's, a top end wide receiver 2 this year. I think he's going to get peppered with targets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They got nobody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should. He definitely should. So how high? So you say top end wide receiver 2. How high are you putting him next year?
I'm going to say his ceiling for next year is honestly 14.
14?
Yeah.
I was going to say 17, so I'm not far off. Ty, what do you think Malik Neighbors finishes at in 2024?
Just based off his jack ability, I would say 15. I'm going to say
15?
15.
Yeah, I was actually going to say 15 too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you and Muscles agreed on something. So Andy said he's giving the Giants a C. I'm going to give them a B minus just because I agree. I think they need to get offensive line help.
Mhm.
Disappointed they didn't do that in the later rounds.
Yeah.
But the fact that they got in the Malik Neighbors, they needed a receiving talent like this. I'll give them a B minus. Ty, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'll give him a B, and that's just because I like how they didn't just jump on JJ McCarthy. I like how they just held off. So I think that I really like that.
Yeah, must.
Yeah, I'll give him a B also. I would like to see him get line, but Neighbors is a great pick.
Yeah, definitely is, man. And like Andy said, Devin Singletary, big winner. I mean, we've seen him do it in multiple offenses, and we know Brian Daboll knows him from his days in Buffalo.
Yep.
So that's something to keep in mind. But we're going to go over here. If you know anything about Dynasty DNA, we got so many people that are fans of this team. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Really didn't do too much in fantasy relevance. We'll talk about Will Shipley, though. They did take him there in the 4th round. Coming in behind Saquon Barkley, going to probably compete with Kenneth Gainwell for that second running back job. How do you guys feel about Shipley landing with the Eagles?
I don't love it, but I do think he's that change of pace guy, and that's just what he is.
Yeah.
And I think he can get his hands, on some receiving work here too. So
yeah, and then
I think he is just better than Gainwell.
So do I. I was going to say that I think he will replace Gainwell, and here's the thing too: Aniyah Smith, round 5. I think he'll try to fill that Quez Watkins type role for them.
Yeah, he absolutely could.
And I think he's the perfect guy to do that because, like, when we watch the film, he's a guy that doesn't really do anything wrong. Like, he just isn't sexy. Like, he can do things, but he isn't sexy. But coming in there with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, he could fill that role nicely. I feel.
And they drafted Johnny Wilson in the 6th, so I think they are trying to find somebody to do that role, and I think that'll be your big going into camp competition. And I would probably put my money on Aniyah Smith over Johnny Wilson.
So they went corner a lot. They did need corner.
Yeah, they had a great draft, like they do every year.
Yeah, I give them an A, of course. They did a
Yeah.
great job. But my thing is with the Eagles, okay, we'll talk a little less about the rookies because the rookies they brought in, let's be honest, they're more backup, third, fourth receiver type guys. But how do you feel about the Eagles offense next year? Like, this is a big question mark. Jalen Hurts kind of struggled last year. They do bring in Kellen Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Do we feel that we see an improvement?
I feel like, I think we see a small improvement. I mean, they do bring in Saquon Barkley. I think they're going to try to establish the run a little bit more. Which, a lot of people might not agree with that, but when you give, a guy like Saquon that kind of money, I think you have to. And I think also, with getting the deal done with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith here, kind of solidifies them. They don't have to worry about it. Like, okay, they're taken care of. They're kind of going into the season without any drama,
right?
Like everybody's like, okay, we're good. What's the best way to get the best out of your employees? You pay them,
right?
Yep.
And they paid them. So these guys are going to come in, They know they're damn good. They got a damn good team. And I think Philly's going to be a Super Bowl contender again. I think they're going to take that step back. Like they took the step back. I think they're going forward. They fired the right coaches. They're bringing in the right coaches. I love the Vic Fangio hire for the defense.
They're bringing in the right pieces.
Yeah, they're bringing in the right coaches. They're bringing in the right players. Like Quentin Mitchell, man, he's a good player. Cooper DeJean fell a little bit, super surprised. But again, a great player. And he's a great special teams guy, too.
Yep. This is going to put a lot on Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, it is.
Because a lot of people called for his head.
I know.
And he skate by and fired everybody else. So.
Yep. So they need to try to win, though. I will say that's the only pressure, but they're doing everything to help him win because I think Sirianni's still the right guy.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree with that. So we see Philly doing better next year. I think I'm like you. Everything they've done a good job.
Yep.
I mean, they've seen their problems last year and they're trying to address it. So I give them an A and
A.
Ty.
A+.
A+ for Philly. Yeah, they kill it all the time with the draft. They did it again.
Yep.
So we're going to go to the last team in the NFC East. It's a team another one that brought in a lot of people from fantasy significance. Going to talk about this. The Washington Commanders. We'll just start right at the top, drafting Jayden Daniels at the second pick in the first round. How do you all feel about Jayden Daniels in this offense with Cliff Kingsbury?
I like it, man. I really do. Like, I think I really would have felt better if they would have drafted another receiver. I mean, they did get Luke McCaffrey, but I think McCaffrey still has a little bit of like just growing to do. But I love the small things that he does. So he absolutely could, grow into that number 2 role. See if Jahan Dotson can somehow, be somewhat relevant,
make some kind of comeback.
Yeah, make anything. But yeah, man, as far as Jayden Daniels, he remains my quarterback too, and I think we're gonna see, a lot of running out of him. And they bring in Sanat, who, I'm not the biggest Sanat fan, probably a little bit lower than a lot of the community, but like still he's solid.
I think honestly, Sanat, given the capital, given the land spot, he's my second tight end I'm taking.
Yes, he's probably my third. Yeah,
he was second for me.
Yeah, he was second for you pre-draft. So yeah, he probably moves up for me to number 3. But I do like the spot, and like you said, I mean, pick 53 overall.
Got good capital. He has a chance to really. I mean, Zach Ertz is the only other guy there.
Yeah,
I mean, we know Zach Ertz is an injury merchant. So if you're hoping any kind, Zach Ertz is a loser to me. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and Cole Turner, if you had any.
Any shares in him.
I think. Even them bringing in Eckler, I just kind of wish like the running back room I'm just not in love with like Eckler on the older side. Brian Robinson's just, I just can't get on board, man.
Well, and two, Luke McCaffrey. We'll go to that last pick here, and we love Luke McCaffrey. Got third round capital.
Yeah, I that's one I was shocked, and I did like McCaffrey, but I was like, he's probably more of a 4th or 5th round guy,
right?
So I want to say they overdrafted him a bit, but maybe the rest of the NFL was high on him and they knew he wouldn't be there.
Well, and the thing is too, like he's someone like we talked about has to develop.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, behind Terry McLaurin, and Jahan Dotson, it's a nice fit, and he can work his way into the slot more.
Yeah.
And I honestly think this is a great pick. I've been getting him 4th round in a lot of dynasty rookie drafts.
That's good value.
Yeah, because he's going to get an opportunity, and he's the kind of guy that works hard.
Yeah.
I think he'll get work on his craft. So I really love that pick from Washington as well. But last thing I want to ask about Washington is Jayden Daniels next year. I mean, what are we expecting? Because I know Ty said this and he said it well. Sam Howell is like from a fantasy standpoint, he's going to be a tough act to follow just because all the points he put up.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like you might get some people that might be a little bit disappointed if it doesn't get as high. I mean, you're building a franchise. It takes time.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you expect next year?
How did Jayden Daniels? I think it'd be a range of outcomes, man. Like, because I could see him being really good, being a top 10 guy, but I also could see him being like 15.
Yeah.
So like, if we're talking ceiling, I'll say 12. If we're talking floor, I'd say 18.
Yeah. And I think it's good. I'm going to put them right around probably 16, 17, just based off of this division's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Especially for a rookie quarterback.
It
Outside
is.
the Giants, which they are adding pieces. They got Burns to pass rush now, but like the Eagles defense, the Cowboys defense, they're no pushovers.
Yeah.
So could be a little bit tough from that aspect. So I'm going to put him there. Ty, how do you think he fares in 2024?
I would say probably like maybe 19, 20.
It's tough.
I'm just not a fan of the player.
Yeah, I know you're not super fan. The division's tough too. What do you think, Muss?
Yeah, I mean his rushing floor is what's gonna help him. So yeah, I mean I'm gonna say worst case he's like 18 to 20, and then best case he could be a quarterback one. I feel like.
Yeah, that's what 10's probably the ceiling for me.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he's not gonna be like quarterback one or anything.
Yeah.
Or like quarterback 5, but
right.
That's what I mean, not quarterback one. I think he could slot into a back end quarterback one.
And what we know for sure is him and Caleb are the only two that are going to start day one.
Yeah.
I mean, we pretty much well know that. Everyone else, I mean, there's no guarantees.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.